and good morning to you from Florida, and specifically in Sebring, as we're about to get another round of HoloProto underway, specifically HoloProto International. Welcome everyone to round 2 of the international season. It's the Sebring 200 coming right up for you soon. So with that out of the way, let's take a look into what the track would look like. We're looking at a track that is probably one of the longest in aero competitions. Not the ones ever, but it is a close second. Because we have Le Mans, that's the longest one in the HoloProto calendar. This one is the second longest, at least for international, with a track length at 3.7 miles. So was that 6 kilometers? Depending on what type of measurement that you want to use. 17 corners in total of this pretty much legendary racetrack. And obviously you've got one of those corners, like especially Sunset Drive, which absolutely use your back with its bumpy corners, with its bumpy surface. So it's not one of the corners that you would want to take it pretty lightly. For a lap count, we're looking at 34 laps for a total of 34 laps for a total race distance of just over 200 kilometers. Target lap time, we're looking to see if we can get into the mid 150s or low 150s after we saw high 150s being set by the fastest drivers currently in practice. And if we want to talk about the past winner, of course, Dan Evans currently leading the current standings for HoloProto International after his win at Fuji Speedway propels him up front in the title race. He also just happens to win last year's edition of the Sebring race. So obviously he's got a lot of weight over his shoulders to try to make sure that he can try to be the dominant car at Sebring for Irony 15. We'll see if he can get repeat wins under his belt here at this legendary circuit. So let's take a look at the championship standings. Dan Evans, of course, currently is in control of the situation here in the standings, of 25 points ahead of Tawan Bomin for Fuawa Abisgard. Ryan Kagawa stays in third for Ovo Lerena. Of course, he also finished third in his split race. And of course, we got multiple drivers who finished fourth in each of their split races. Yuta Sanos, Vinales, and Rafael de Oliveira had assault showings at Fuji Speedway. The other one who also had assault showings at Fuji Speedway would be Enzio Ferrari for Rara Pantera. These are your 7 drivers who finished inside the top 5 at Fuji Speedway in each of their split races. Obviously, we got some other names that you can take a look into. But one of the names that we do want to focus on as well is Joshua Zurin, who currently is sitting plumb last in the international standings after a lackluster-ish showing at Fuji Speedway. But obviously, as the defending champion in HoloProto, he is going to see if he can get a good result here in Sebring, the same track where he had his massive shunt. He is hoping that things will be very much different from this point on. Take that out of the way, let's move on into qualifying. First of all, thank you all for tuning in for this stream. We're pretty much glad to see all of you here, even though the numbers aren't really a lot. Anyways, my name is Marshall in the commentary booth, and we are going to be set to get this 5 minutes of qualifying session properly underway, as the cars will be set to get out of their pit boxes to start their one-shot lap in qualifying. And the first driver out is Javier Lusby. So we are seeing some major updates here. Obviously, some of y'all might be coming in from the Formula Holo streams and the racing project, We've got Canada winning in Barcelona, but the championship standing still, the championship lead in the FHCS still goes to Aki Rosen. Best of the EN and ID cars would still go to Iron 15, who had scored 4 of her first 4 races, who managed to still stay at 86 points. This is the FHCS. In the FHWC, it is a slightly different story. Obviously, with the race probably concluded at Kyalami, KRVV has pretty much opened up her championship aspirations to win at Kyalami, which just happened. Osaka is the second, and Suisse is the third. Back into the best performing ID and EN class member, that would still go to, well, we're a bit hard done by to find the best out of the members. I do want to find someone better than Takanashi Kiara, who finishes at 84 points after the race at Kyalami. On the aero side, on the other hand, Koyurika Mendes does have something to prove. If you look into his current run-in, obviously he is currently pretty much down as well with Joshua Zuri. He is currently in 22nd place in the standings. Obviously, Kanashikara herself can perform at high-pressure events. Can pretty much respond in due time. Obviously, he does have winning pedigree in Formula Hall life. Of course, in HoloProto, or type as it was called, it was a bit different. His best finish was in 3rd place at the Le Mans Split B race. Obviously, he could love to do better, especially as you see Koyurika Mendes now coming into the back straight here in Sebring, into the Ullman straight. It's good time to check on the onboards, see how Koyurika handles this 3.7-mile circuit coming into Sunset Bend. You gotta be very careful with the bump that can catch you there. Anyways, a good exit on after Sunset Bend. Seems to feel very well for this main straight front stretch. Turn 1, pretty much take around at 50 here at 2 before your head is making the turn 3 down to the second gear. Coming down to the first turn in. And obviously turn 5 is coming up. Take the exit to your right. Sector here, 33.336, only 3/100ths of a second slower than the fastest time. I believe it's just right behind us. I believe Joshua Zurich. Anyways, we're still going flat out into the front of the corner, into turn 10, into the 300-yard marker, breaking into first gear. Here, go flat into Collier. And we turn 12 as well, and then what the heck breaking into Tower Corner. And there it's going flat out Tower until turn 15. Block has struck to 0 as the tremendous second sector. Now he's 4/10ths behind as he comes into 15 and then into Le Mans. Will take a very wide approach off into that corner. He set himself up for the Ullman straight. Every time to switch your car. Sunset Bend, pretty much on the first part you can get flat out before you go for that little break into the box. And then big exit for Sunset Bend, chips it up for a decent lap here. And it's going to be 10th place for Koyurika Mendes. Ozzy Wazit, meanwhile, is the man to beat right now. Oh my, I just realized we're in the wrong screen. But okay, here's the full screen right now. Anyways, Aziz Mosif currently sitting on pole position. Dan Evans in second place, ready to defend his title here in Sebring. More drivers complete their laps. We're seeing more drivers trying to complete their laps. Has yet to finish. I think that's everyone who have already set their last iron down in 24th place. So we will see everyone trying to force the line to basically seal the deal. We are expecting lots of scratches on the cars as well. So Tom moving now coming into the pits to put his car into servicing by the pit crew, and that should be it. It is official. Aziz Mosif now takes pole position in the Sebring 200 to start. Let's take a look into the starting lineup. Aziz Mosif, congratulations to him on his pole position for Ayunda Risu. It is an ID 1-2-3 and a front row lockout at that as well. Dan Evans, the defending race winner from 2025, gets to join Muazib up in the front. Adanori Miyuki also showcasing the ID class rep in the top 3. The fastest EN class car is Enzo Ferrari for Pantera with Grave Power 5th for Mokako Bisgard. In row 3 as well, joining Grave is Hazi Yazid for Sherry Novella. Evelyn Koromi for ER Bloodflame, who just hosted her own live concert. Entertaining stuff as well. I got to see a lot of songs from the 80s and Dragon Ball and Blondes, if you know, you know. Sven Jensen, who is currently near the top of the standings, starts 8th for Iris. Yuta Sano as well in 9th for GG Marine, with Mateus Zacharias 10th for Crazy Ollie. It is his closest race to home. And never mind the actual Americans racing here, like Ray Prower, the highest American in the starting lineup here. Rafa de Oliveira in 11th for Nerissa Ravencroft, and joining him in row 6 will be Jerry Pranata for Hoshina Vamuna. Corey Rica Mendes starts 13th for Takanashi Kiara, with 14th place going to Tyler Williams and Oro Crony. Joshua Zurek, the defending champion, will start 15th for Mori Calliope, with 16th place going to Alex Grant and Cecilia Emma Green. In 17th place, row 9, it's going to be Hinochi Tayo for Kyle Kowalskia, and that's Ryan Kagawa and Pavalia Rene, also on row 9. Row 10, it will be Momashazin Reza and Takeda Adachi, 19th and 20th respectively. And into the back 4 drivers on the grid, it's Angela Sims in 21st. And then we got Tawan Bowman in 22nd for Bisgard. Our oldest driver in aero competitions, Javier Lusby, will start 23rd. And Iron will start 24th and last for Hakos Bales. And with that being said, we are just going to get ourselves ready for this race. Aziz Mosif currently the driver to start on pole position here. And obviously there's still lots of intrigue here as to how it goes. For these drivers, Aziz Mosif obviously has shown his race winning pedigree, but that's only in Formula Hololive for the most part. If you look at it, the international side of things, he has been one of those third place drivers, mostly out of the points. But when he does finish, he will finish in 3rd. Nice nature, but we'll talk about that later, as we are now going to see the race properly unfolding right before our very eyes. All right, it's going to be the 3 ID class cars on the front spots here. Aziz Mosif on pole position, Dan Evans in 2nd, and the Sebring 200 is properly underway. Great start from the Malaysian driver representing Ayun Risu as the drivers now make their way into turn 1. Pretty much smooth sailing for all of these drivers. No crashes just yet. Into Ferrari will now try to make his move against Hanari Miyuki around the outside of turn 3. He's still hanging around as they're now coming into the Big Bend. It's going to be Adas leading against Evans. Ferrari now in 3rd. Hanari Miyuki's in 4th. Great Power 5th. Evelyn Kromi's in 6th. Hazi Yazid 7th. Jensen 8th. Zacharias 9th. And Yuta Sano in 10th place. Actually, scratch that. There's a bit of a switch up in positions here. Yuta Sano now currently in 9th against Johnny Bernata in 10th. Hazi Yazid, meanwhile, still leads over this battle here. Jensen and Nasano now going side by side as they're now coming into turn 10. And it's still going to be Jensen ahead. A bit of an update on Wasif. He now has a mere 1 second lead over his competitors. Enzo Ferrari currently running in 2nd place, just chilling about as usual. Meanwhile, the rest of the field is trying their best to catch up to the rest of the pack. The rest of the pack is currently in the lead. So anyways, it looks to me that Iron has beaten Javier Lusby. All 24 cars are still in this race. These are cars being absolutely close here to Asano as they're now coming out of the Sunset Bend. And here comes Zacharias on the move down the inside. He's already side by side. He's peeling down in the inside to make a move into turn 1. Zacharias still could not get the move done. Asano, great stuff there. Sticking around the outside and maintaining his grip levels. And looks like we got some as well. Obviously we got Akazuri watching in from the paddock here in the pit lane. Obviously she is in attendance. Oh, and there's an engine failure right in front of our eyes. That's Yuta Sano. Yuta Sano is out of this race, and it will be our first casualty here in Sebring. And obviously, it's very much unideal for one of the front runners in the battle for the International Championship. Having already coming off a great race at Fuji Speedway in Split B. Not the outcome that Asano had envisioned, but there is still other drivers that are going to try to make this work regardless. Speaking of which, Tawan Bumin, who is currently running in 21st place, didn't have a great qualifying session. However, he is trying to see if he can outmaneuver everyone else on strategy. Aziz Wazir is about to finish this lap to start lap 3 of this race. 151.717. That's the pretty much the standard, but Enzo Ferrari has done one better. 151.623. Fastest lap of the race so far. Let's take a look into the race full monitor. Looks to me that everyone should be okay without hitting in the first 15 laps. This means one thing though. We're going to be seeing some strategy in the mid stages of this race. And obviously it is well reflected in these drivers. Everyone seems to be more or less in the same pit window. The issue now comes in what specific lap. But anyways, we got now moves down, which is Rizzo now inside the points for Kiseki Bijou. Kafuawa could use the top 10 if you are paying attention to recent things that have happened happened in the Formula Holo races that have happened just a few moments ago. You look at Advent, who really don't have a great time there, as all but one are in the FHCS. Fall, of course, has had a torrid time with the season so far, only scoring 18 points out of a possible 255. Currently sitting near plumb last in the FHCS. And of course now Bomin carrying one or two torches for Fuamoko is doing pretty okay, actually. Better at that, because he is currently second in the HoloProto standings, only 25 points behind Dan Evans. And of course, Dan Evans won in Fuji Speedway, and Don Bruin finished second in Split B. As we now see more balance here, Sven Jensen has now been overtaken by Matthias Zacharias, who's currently running in 8th. So anyways, we're just gonna never mind that. We're just gonna keep running this race as usual. Wasn't currently in control so far in this proceeding. As we're trying to monitor the situation, Dino Cayo is now ready to try to fight one against Shannon Reza, who is now actually going to go down the inside into Sunset Bend. And as you can see here, that was a speculative effort there from Hinochi, but now she has to lose out big time, as we are now going to see more potential battles here. We're flying Kagawa. Adachi got very close, but so now we're just gonna pay attention to, well, Aziz Mosef, who's currently having a pretty solid lead at the start of this race, 1.2 seconds now ahead of Enzo Ferrari. As Ferrari does have the faster car in race pace, but Mosef is making full use of his position as the leader here in Sebring. Staying there for pole position. That certainly helps a bunch. Yazid currently chasing Kuomi for 6th place as well. Yazid looking back into his current championship aspirations. He is trying to bounce back from a lackluster showing at Fuji Speedway. Aziz Mosif, 158.14, already beating our lap time targets by, well, about 7/10 of a second. Speaking of which, currently running in this race, Greg Brower also doing very well, though. He was in 5th place, he's now up into 4th. outside the top 10. Now here's the thing about racing in general. Well, you're not going to be expecting tons of side-by-side action because remember these cars are quite a handful. Driving as Angela Sims are making the pass on to Adachi for 19th place. So already 5 laps complete. This is not really a long race though by prototype standards. If anything, this is a super sprint for these types of cars, but we run what we want to run. Anyways, Great Power is closing in now to Dan Evans to make it an EN23. Evans does have a front-running pace, but not race-winning pace just yet. Of course, it will change in the pit stop cycles, but then again, you should be in a better position if you can stay up. So you can be in front in the first place. And obviously, Evans is not in there right now. Established earlier, he is at race-winning pedigree here in Sebring. In the same car, nonetheless. Foes to fight, and one of those foes is actually Great Power and Honorary Miyuki, who is currently running behind Evans. Now coming into the open straight. Prower is trying to get close, but still nothing to write home about. Meanwhile, is getting close to a fight with Zurich. Currently running in the package with Zurich. So this won't really be enough to assist in his aspirations for him retaining the title. But then again, he won the World CEO title, which is actually the grandest title of all in mark here in Sebring, Florida. Well, not really a lot, but we are going to be paying attention to Hinochi, who is Francis Mosic now has extended his lead to 3 seconds over Ferrari. Has been able to close in onto Mosic right now. Mosic, championship prospects for last season, well, this season actually. Mosic obviously has had another cold race at Fuji Speedway, and this will be, if he does stay where he is right now, this will be another one of his hot races. When it's hot, he finishes inside the podium places, and when it's cold, he finishes either 13th or lower, and no in between, which should be interesting. Mosic is absolutely on the charge. So, make today a hot day for him. It's a very interesting prospect, all things considered. Ferrari has slightly closed in on Mosic right now. He was at 3.1 seconds, now at 2.9. It's only a slight gain, but some people will take whatever they want. Anyways, pit stop strategies. Still not expected to start anytime soon. Iron, for example, is only have 4 laps to set to come into the pit box. As we are seeing right now, using drivers who are under strategy, basically pit early, do some clean air while you have those fresh tires, gain a lot of time while they are losing more time, while they are stuck there on track and all that, and then use that opportunity to get some track position. It's always a great sense of intrigue as video art is going to continue. I'm just gonna have to continue much out of this race. De Oliveira, who was in the mid-pack, is now currently down in 21st. Same goes for Pernata. These are the drivers who have already made their pits, so we are just going to pay attention to their next lap times to see if gains can be found. Ferrari now comes into the pits as one of the those who have pitted will be pitting pretty early. Enzo Ferrari now comes in for his pit stop. Same goes with Adak-RMS, who is also on his way into the box as well. So this is a good look here, a good and curious check here. Enzo Ferrari still stationary, but not anymore. Looks like he will be barely behind. He will be behind Lusby, but he is still ahead of Pernata. Now looking into their sector 2 times. Chicago is faster than De Oliveira. So we are. But then again, it's not really the pace that we're looking for. We're looking at 43s in the sector 2. So we're just gonna go ahead and continue on to this one. Moses has got to Evans now at 7 seconds. Alright, next driver to come into the pits is Sven Jensen. He's pretty much up next. And right now, the current update pile here is with Jordi Pernata, who has already made a pit stop. Just barely getting out of his box. Looks to me that Carlos, meanwhile, is going to clear Sven Jensen, or rather, really not. It's actually Sven Jensen who barely ekes out ahead of Zacharias. And if you look into the previous laps here, it is still a 151 for, well, Enzo Ferrari now dropped out into a 158.91. So he is trying to make use of clean air. He might just be able to close down on. Kromi, who just gone out. Just ahead is Sven Jensen. Corey Gamet is also finally getting out. Johnny Panata is coming into turn 1 right now, but Corey Gamet should have this thing covered. And still pretty much a toss-up as to how the strategy will continue to unfold. Very intriguing race, no less. As Mazif for Ayunda Research still in the lead right now, but still another question that comes to mind: how close can Ferrari can go to? Well, can Ferrari close in? How much can he close in onto Mazip? And now he's coming into the pits. The leader has now come into the pits. So right now we are paying attention to Enzo Ferrari, who is now coming into the Oldman Straight as we speak. Drive. Wazir is just getting out. He is gonna be able to maintain his lead over into Ferrari. The gap was around 7 seconds, but I think the gap might actually be a bit bigger. Looks like the overcut strategy is the strategy to go after all. Stay up for as long as you can before you make your pit stop, where you will be slower. Right now, we're looking at Wazif now only barely ahead of Lusby as well. I believe Lusby has not made a pit stop just yet, and he does make this move count against Wazif. And given that Wazif has made a pit stop and Lusby has yet to, this is going to be an interesting dilemma. And this is perfectly safe. So you run the risk of Ferrari catching up. But he didn't try to make the pass on to Lusby there, Moazif. But again, one wrong move and he'll end up being spun around on like a top. And it will be his race over. Of sorts, and the case of decision making. Just gone out. He's now down to 21st. Pretty much as expected. Speaking of which, Moazif has yet to clear Javier Lusby, and the gas gun dropped down to 4.2 seconds. This is the battle for the lead. Now, it is a interesting question to ponder right now. The gaps continue to drop down. It is now at 3.8 seconds. come in. Adachi come in. Us and also Angel Sims. They will come in for their pit stops here. They're battling between themselves and Pranata, Query Fitness. Also have their pit stops here. They should be able to stay ahead. They had the advantage of not needing to stay for long in the pits. As she finally gets out. Actually, here comes Corey Mendes though. He should be able to put these three drivers who have just made their pit stops pretty easily of sorts. As we're now coming into the second half of this race. Cycle's done. So now the big question is how can the drivers who will be making their overcut strategies try to stay ahead. Obviously they can just try to hit as late as they can and hope that the tire change is actually still faster than refueling. These cars can still refuel, by the way. Also, the gap between Azure and well, so Azure and Husky has it at 21 seconds is a bit crazy. That has opened up after the drivers have made the pit stops, which really explains it. Race still underway. Still absolutely can't tell on the strategy front. Dan Evans will be making his pit stop this lap. And that is we thought that would be something like an engine failure, but still okay right now. Dan Evans has taken the lead, taken his net lead right now. Already ahead of Wasif by 4 seconds actually, or just 3 seconds. Looks like the overcut strategy is a strategy to go, and this is as a result of Evans not needing to spend a lot of time in the pits. Cars will being changed quickly as usual. Speaking of which, now makes his pit stop. Same goes for Hanari Miyuki. And right now, these Dan Evans, the first drivers who have made their pit stops, who are currently leading after the pit stops. Evans, Lusby, Mazif, Ferrari. They are currently already coming into the back straight, the Ullman straight. This will be a question on whether or not Prower can have a quick pit stop. The car is still pretty much stationary. Dan Evans is about to come into Sunset Bend. It's a slow pit stop there from Gray Prower. This is not exactly what he wants. Hanari Miyuki has already beaten Gray Prower. Dan Evans now currently in, he's going to be able to retake the race lead. A great execution strategy. Gray Prower is absolutely going to rue this mistake from the pit crew. It's a very slow pit stop from the Mokoko camp. Absolute tragedy for Gray Prower. It was a chance for him to get at least a good result, but now all he can muster is currently 12. So more drivers have yet to make a pit stop. Hazik Yazid and Joshua Zurich now the next drivers to be called. Zurich currently running in second, Yazid in the lead. And that's Molshan Reza, who's currently running in third place, still with 6 laps of fuel to go. Another pit stop. That is something. Actually, no. Lusby has already made. This is actually Lusby's single pit stop. Same as for Azura. Azura's now in 13th place. Lusby now drops down to looks to be 19th, maybe 20th, possibly 21st as well. Okay, maybe 22nd as well. Washington Rizza now currently is in the lead, but it will be a very fragile one. Well, it's about to be broken anyway. But he is currently running in the lead. Evans in second, Yuki in third, Mozim in fourth. It will be Indonesia 1, 2, and 3. Two from Gen ID1 and one from ID3. Obviously doing a very great solid for the Indonesia members. His pit stop, the last pit stop activity that's expected, that is. Then Evans still in control, and now he takes control of the lead of the race. mechanics. Then, okay, all drivers have made their pit stops. And now we're seeing the side-by-side action here is that Sven Jensen around the outside on Matthias Zacharias. The slowest of a motion is now dropped down to 16th place. 22 laps complete. We still have 12 laps to go here in Sebring before we properly conclude the running of this race here in Sebring. How do we say this? In terms of drivers being dominant on one track, you don't really hear that story a lot, but we are just gonna see if Evans can just hang on to this win here at Sebring. He's doing a solid job at the moment. Currently in control so far. Having a healthy gap of 6.7 seconds. I need to make that joke right now. Anyways, looking into Jose Cruz now. Exited the Le Mans corner. Still nothing in his tank to be able to close in onto Miyuki. His pit stops are already in motion. So it is now a straight race to the finish. It's all about who has the pace. Actually, in this stage of this race, there's still 10 laps to go already here in Sebring. Ohio 15th. Again, Sebring, another very easy track to overtake. Don't mind lack of racing right now. Then again, you just have to bid. You just have to hope that something happens. Because sometimes it does. But if it doesn't, then the race rating motions might be in the pit lane. Again, some people will not like this, but at least we're racing in its natural form. That, then I don't know what else to say. Laps are now ticking. And as for the championship lead in the international standings, you'd be hard-pressed to find someone more dominant than Dan Evans right now, who is currently set to actually score his second consecutive win in HoloProto. Those are the races that he's entered in the points. Ferrari is trying, but doing a very good job in that 5th place right now. Okay, their progress going to miss Gainer. Is it for Mendez? We did mention earlier. He does need a decent result here. He's actually down in the standings, coming to Sebring, but he is going to see if he can score a solid points finish here in Sebring, gaining 3 positions from the start. He is currently running in 10th. Evelyn Kromi in 6th, Svenians in 7th. Currently, Mateo Zacharias in 8th. Power 9th, and Puerto Mendez runs out the top 10. In 11th place, it's Johnny Granata, and then you got your Rafael de Oliveira, who's running for Neris Ravencroft. Joshua Azur at 13th for Omori Calliope. Still not the thing that he's looking for, but at least something. Which Tayo in that Ella car is in 14th and 15th place after Reza has blundered himself in the strategy. Which Tayo is now currently in lead. Ferrari and Yazid. Romy, Jensen, Zacharias, Prower, and Puerto Mendez. Arnaba de Oliveira, Azurid, Tayo, and both Azurid, Williams, and Tayo. away from Dan Evans, who hasn't had a foot wrong in the season just yet. Looking to make it 2 out of 2 so far in the HoloProto international standings. And of course, still leads the split A standings in HoloProto World. He's doing a solid job at the moment. See how this race plays out with not long to go. And looking into the current running order, still not a lot of, still no changes. Except Jazzy has now made except it's still Haji Jazzy ahead of Enzo Ferrari. 6th, Jensen in 7th, Zacharias Prower Mendez. Still an intriguing contest. Top 5 are going to be left unharmed and unchanged, but the mid-pack still a lot to play for. Also really wants to get the double digits in his points tally at the moment, but right now it's still nothing to report. Just observing things, and right now it's still pretty much stalemate. We're now really coming into the closing stages of the Sebring 200. Now we're really coming into the afternoon hours here in Sebring, Florida. Laps to go to decide the winner here. Evans already having a pretty much comfortable margin over Hanoi Immunity. This won't make it in Indonesia. 1, 2, 3. The ID class cars absolutely showing their prowess in HoloProto this season. Dan Evans absolutely showing his dominance so far in the first 2 races of HoloProto International for the year 2026. And if he stays here in the lead, then he'll do himself a lot of good. And a lot of good he will absolutely do. This is okay. I really still cannot. I still cannot find any words on what's going on with this race. Still very calm affair, all things considered. After what we had been through with some of these races being quite attritional, we only have one retirement in this race, and that came from Hugh Tassano, who had that single engine failure. He's our only retirement in this race. Dan Evans is about to cross the line to start the penultimate lap of the Sebring 200. Earlier, no foot wrong for him just yet, and also no overtake, no change of positions except one. And since the final pit stop was done by the results, currently running in the first position outside the points in 16th. HoloProto standings. Solid campaign. Obviously, he has won the World Zaco with Rara Pantera, getting 2 third place finishes out of 3 rounds in the World Zaco, on his way to win the World Zaco title. And here he comes to start the final lap in the lead of the Sebring 200 for Irony UO15. Again, you do very well to see someone with this kind of performance early on be having a hard time finding someone who has done back-to-back wins in ARO competitions. I don't think it has come pretty much commonly But when if it does come, it's something to behold. And also as a result of Sven Jensen will also move up into third place. Now we got Hanari Yuki now also jumping up into fourth place in the standings. That one moving in fifth. Six, Ryan Kagawa in seventh. Now start to make his way into the finish line. It's been pretty dominant from Dan Evans ever since the pit stops have come. He's only started third, but that's not really that one that mattered. It's his race execution and pit stop strategy that puts him up in front. He's gonna make it 2 out of 2 in Sebring. No other driver has won in Sebring other than Dan Evans and Irony 15 as they cross the line. Dan Evans has won the Sebring 200. Absolutely great showing to cement Evans and Yofi's status as the greats in Sebring. And they, in turn, will also continue to hug their lead in the championship very tight and to no one else's grasp. Yuki finishes second, Wazin in third, to make it in Indonesia 1-2-3. Even after all of this, so just gonna wait for Javier Luzmi to cross the line to make it official. And there he comes. Alright, so let's take a look into the running order at the end of this race. Dan Evans takes a pretty interesting checkered flag for him to stretch his lead in the standings over Hunter, Enzo Ferrari, who's now in second place. Sven Jensen in third. Hanariki currently in the championship standings. But as for the race results, Evans takes the checkered flag. Yuki second. Wazif in third. And then we got Enzo Hazigiazi in fourth. Enzo Ferrari in fifth. Evan Kuromi sixth with Sven Jensen seventh. Matias Zakari is in eighth. Gray Prower ninth. And Corey Rico Mendez rounds out the top 10. Whew. Anyways, we're just gonna take a look into basically how the race has been run so far. Of course, 8th place. Alright, so moving on to 11th to 20th, Jody Pranata in the Hoshunova Muna number 69. Also doing a very good job for himself. Rafa de Oliveira only finishes 12th. Joshua Zurich 13th to continue his point scoring, but he obviously needs a top 5 and soon. But at least he finishes in Sebring for once. Tal Williams 14th. For Oro Crony and Yonishitaya, the last of the point scorers, in 15th. Washington Reza in 16th place, missing out on points. It's an absolute mess right now, but then again, you gotta do what you gotta do. Alex Grant in 17th place for Cecilia Emmergreen, and then we got Ryan Kagawa. Oh, sorry, in 18th for Pavole Rene. Sorry, wrong person. It is actually, wait. Gonna double check. Okay, Ryan Kagawa, yep, he had a third place finish at Fuji, but obviously for this race he didn't have a best of races, so he's not done in 18th. Angela Sims is in 19th, and 20th place goes to Dawan Bumin. He gave it his best shot, but unfortunately he could not get it done. Takeda Adachi in 21st, Iron in 22nd, Javier Luspi in 23rd as the last of the drivers finishing this race. And then we got Hyuta Sano finishing in dead last in 24th place after he had an engine failure on lap 2. Meanwhile, we're just gonna get a bit of pretty small update of sorts. Alright, we're just gonna get the points properly put in before we will show you the championship standings. And I think we should be done soon. No problem. Alright. So we're just gonna save the replay first before we get everything done. Alright, now finishing off the international race here in Sebring. Let's take a look into the standings. And coming off the end of this one, it will be Dan Evans who now takes control of the international standings. Further control, that is, over Enzo Ferrari. The gaps between these two are at, well, I just wanted to double check, and I believe I am correct here. Enzo Ferrari does finish in 4th place and not 5th, as what some people would say. Oh no, sorry, there's a bit of a correction. There is a bit of a correction. It's not actually, actually no. Yeah, Enzo Ferrari does finish in 5th place, and it will be 2 consecutive 5th places actually. So yeah, so we are just gonna get a bit of an extra update here, and so yeah, a bit of an update here. It's still Dan Evans ahead of Enzo Ferrari. The gap between them is at 184 points. Almost a full race win of a gap there for Dan Evans over Enzo Ferrari in 2nd place. Sven Jensen is 3rd, Hanori Miyuki 4th, Dawan Bomin is in 5th place. As is Ryan Kagawa, Rafael de Oliveira, Hazigazi, and Hyuta Sano still round out the top 10. Johnny Pranata, Evelyn Kromi, Matias Zacarias, Adachi, and Gray Prower make it 11th to 15th. Actually, Tyler Williams would actually beat Gray Prower on that tiebreaker by virtue of him actually having a way better finishing position than Grave. So that is that as well. So we are just going to update a bit. So yeah, Tyler Williams is in 15th. Grave Prower is in 16th. And then we also got Alex Grant 17th. Jonas Tayo 18th. Angela Sims 19th. And Corey Rica Mendez in 20th. Sheldon Rizza, Irene, Javier Luspi, and Joshua Zure make up the final 4 spots of the grid, which should be all of the standings after Sebring. So yeah, that should be the results here and there for the Sebring 200. And yes, we have the race results properly recorded. So again, I would like to thank everyone for tuning in for today's stream here in Sebring. I'd like to thank everyone for your well, commitment and your viewership. Very much grateful for all of that. My name is Baba Shazar in the commentary booth. And that should be all our racing activity for this weekend. For next weekend, we will have the HoloLite GT3 race at Okayama. The Okayama 400 coming up for you soon. Hopefully, everyone should be able to tune into that race as well. And that being said, thank you all for coming to the stream. And we'll see you tomorrow for more racing action in HoloLite GT3. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you next weekend.